It's no secret that the construction industry has a branding problem. We're seen as slow, wasteful, and stuck in the past. It doesn't have to stay that way, and it ain't going to take a genius to fix it either. As Gary Ridge says in his new book, any dumbass can do it. Any dumbass that's willing to show up, learn, lead, and remove the waste. That's how we rebrand this industry. The Rebranding Construction podcast is for the builders, the thinkers, the learners, and the doers. The ones who are sick of the stupidity and the bureaucracy that's just slowing everything down. Waste, confusion, and frustration, they're our real enemies. We're here to replace them with clarity, culture, and execution. Because here's the truth. Big change doesn't necessarily come from big leaps. It comes from small wins stacked up daily. Welcome to Rebranding Construction, where we turn common sense into common practice. And we're a better tomorrow. All right, let's turn common sense into common practice. Any dumbass can do this. If you don't have a copy of that book by Gary Ridge, recommend that you go and get a copy. And the other book that I'm going to recommend to you today is Lean Made Simple, which is what this is all built on. How to increase output of your crew. Double it in the next 90 days. Now, you're probably looking at me thinking, who is this bloke? What is he talking about? Is he even a tradesman? Where has he come up with this harebrained scheme from? My name's Beanie. I am a boilermaker by trade. I've been doing this stuff. Let's say I'm pretty good at construction because I've been doing it since I could walk. There's actually a picture that my mum has of me trailing off a slab of a house that my dad was building when I was just a little fella. All right, I've been in the construction industry since I was 15. Started at my boilermaking apprenticeship. I am 53 this year. I do not talk to you about stuff that I think might be a fucking good idea or might possibly work, or you should try this. This is stuff that I've actually done. You can do it as well. If I can do it, any other dumbass, which is a good thing, not a bad thing, can do it as well. All right, so let's get cracking on this. This is built off of the book Lean Made Simple. Now, I know lean gets a bad rap. It's just manufacturing. It's nothing to do with construction. The amount of times I've been told that if I had $1 for every time I've been told that lean or scrum or anything else wouldn't work in construction, then I wouldn't need to be making this video. Lean, scrum, agile, whatever you want to call it, I like to call it Kaizen, works wherever you have people and you need them to get stuff done quicker. Today, we're looking at Sunshine Coast tradesmen. So, first thing, I'm going to tell you a little story here about how this happens, how we get from here to here. Then I'm actually going to run you through how I run what's called a daily stand-up. So the first thing that you must do if you want to implement this with your team on your site, whatever it is, you must find, and this comes from the book written by this guy, must find your Ryan. The reason that is important. Someone must live, breathe this stuff. They must be willing to turn up the site and execute it every day. Everyone else says, we've heard enough of this, we don't want to do it. This is bullshit, we're sick of it. This is not really working. You need a Ryan, a person who loves it, lives it, breathes it. Now, I actually find that females are better than this, than the blokes. If you've got a female on your crew, that will make an exceptional Ryan. It will become evident what an exceptional Ryan is as we go through it. They're the person that takes the lead with this stuff and say, hey, have we done our things that we need to do here to double our productivity? They pull the rest of the team along with them. They won't be easily brought down. Probably they're someone who is, as Nassim Taleb calls it in his book, anti-fragile. They've got some ticker. I like the quote out of Moneyball, the first one, through the wall gets bloody. You need that temperament, that mentality of we're going to keep doing this and we're going to keep doing it until it works. All right. So what's the math behind how do you get to double productivity inside 90 days? As I say, I was on a project last year and when I landed there, it was just after Australia Day. It was in a world of hurt. We had a target to hit by the 28th of March, which ended up going a week over. At the point in the time when I landed there, they were months behind. We were never going to get there. We actually got to a point that was good enough by the 28th of March and finished shortly after, even though we had some huge issues to get over. A lot of things got in our way. Black swans hit us. All right. When it started, we were averaging 12 to 1300 hours per day earned value. That was our best. Our best inside wasn't inside 90 days. It was actually inside 60 days. We went to 2800, just over 2800, almost 3000 hours per day, just by following this simple formula. So look at it from a lean perspective. Over our 90 days, what we need to do is get a 1% improvement per day. 1% improvement per day compounds. It doesn't sound like much to start off with, but over 72 days, your results double, which is exactly what we did. Well, we did better than that. So what you need to do, but is, and I didn't do this very well, I didn't do it on the project well at all, is capture a baseline of where you are at the current time when you start doing this. All right, so you want to see whether you're actually trending up, you're going well, you're trending down, or you're just going sideways. You're really going nowhere, not getting any worse, but we're not getting any better either. What we're trying to do is, the reason that we get stuck down in this bottom corner, so we've got slow on this end of the scale, things are slow and complex. What we want to do is move from that bottom corner, which is most projects that you go to anyway, which is we're moving fast. Sorry, put the wrong word up there. So we got flow and we're moving quick. And we want to move from complex to simple. Simplify everything that we do. All right. So this is what the first 4 weeks will actually look like. This is the reason that most people, this was where your rind kicks in, because you need your rind to keep this going, even though everyone else is going, this is bullshit, it's not working, we're just wasting time here. First week, when you start doing this, everyone looks at it and they're going, what harebrained scheme is this? Perfectly natural reaction, something new. The immune system, as Salam Ismail likes to call it, reacts. The site or the corporate or the organisational immune system reacts and goes, this is not normal, this is not what we normally do, let's shut it down. This is bullshit. People start throwing stuff out at derogatory comments and stuff like that, probably when you do your daily stand-ups, which is how you kick this all off. They're going to go, what harebrained scheme's this? Right, so you get through that first week. You're going to be a bit of pain. Now look, you probably won't get through it in 4 weeks like this. I can now because I've refined this. I know what's coming and I know how to get through it. This will help you. It might actually take you longer than this. It might take you 8 weeks. It might take you 3 months. It might take 6 months. In fact, I was just talking to a guy in Ireland the other day. It's like they took nearly 2 years to get through this pain, to get it to stick. This is why you need this person, this Ryan, because everyone else gives up too quickly and easily. You need the person that's going to keep it on track even when it comes off track. So we got past first one, week 1, and now we're into week 2. They've passed this is what harebrained scheme is this stage. Then we go into this is an annoying stage. You'll be doing your stand-ups and people be standing there looking at the ground like this, right? Let me put the camera, you can see me anyway. You get a lot of this happening. People looking at the ground, not paying attention, wandering off. You're just thinking, this is not working. We're not going anywhere here. Keep going. Get past week 2. This is the annoying stage. You head into week 3. Something happens, starts to happen at this stage, whether it's week 3, month 3, whatever it is. They start to go, he's not giving up on this. You're right, or she. They're not giving up on this. There might actually be something to this because you've repeated yourself enough times now, and if you're saying the right stuff, they might be starting to go, you might have started to see some little results. Someone's come on board, someone's tried something, someone's done something that's actually worked. So they go, there might actually be something to this. This might make my life, key point here, make my life a little bit easier. This might make things better. Get past that word in week 3, and what's generally starts to happen then is the people that were standing looking at their feet before, all of a sudden, there's a bit of buy-in. They're paying attention. They're looking. They're going, hey, this is not as bad as what I first thought. There's like an airbrain scheme that we just thought was annoying, and started seeing some things that where it started actually work. That's might be right. We might start trying this myself. Might not be all of your crew. It might only be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And the key here is to start out small when you're doing this. But don't get discouraged by people and their opinions. Trust the process. My favourite brand, LSKD. It's always on the back of their shirts. You can't see it at the moment. What's this one? Good. Oh, back of it. Yeah, that one's trust the process. There's another great one that's called Progress Isn't Linear. It's all about building habits, getting the right habits in place, and sticking to it, which is why your Ryan, your person, is going to keep everyone on track, is very important. All right, so what does this process actually look like? Comes out of this book, Lean Made Simple. I'll show you what you need to get. This is the full process. Steps right through here. I'll show you what you need to get started. The steps that you need to get this bit in place. I'll show you those first. And then we'll have a look at the rest of it. And as I say, we'll show you how to what's run called a morning meeting. So the first thing that's got to happen is you've got to get your leaders on board. Okay? Supervisors, leading hands, those sorts of people. Upper management, if you can, if you're starting at the top, project manager should be brought into this. We'll make life a lot easier for this. When I did this, I was sort of set in the middle. I was at the construction manager level, so I had not control, but I had a big influence over what happened in the paddock. And I brought another Ryan in as well, so there was 2 of us driving this. And these guys need to be on board. If the leadership's not on board, then you're going to really struggle. Your Ryan has to be a really solid person to keep pushing on if you haven't got your leadership on board. After we get the leaders on board, we need to do our morning meeting. I remember when I first started the project that I was talking about, when I first started morning meeting, and this is exactly what happened, is and fortunately he left the project, but one of the senior supervisors came up to me, and this was leaders not on board, came up to me and said, we tried this before. This won't last. This won't work. Fortunately, he left the project. Okay, so you've got to get your morning meeting every morning, not when you decide it's a good idea, not like we'll do it Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll do it once a week. Yeah, we're in a bit of a hurry this morning. We'll forget about it. No. Morning meeting happens every single day. That is, out of everything, this is critical to getting through this phase here. And it's also critical to deliver that result, that double your output inside 90 days. Get your morning meeting going. This one, the next one is nice to have. Doesn't have to happen for this to kick off. You get what's known as a lean leaders group going. That's where all you do is you get your leading hands, your supervisors, whatever. You're focused on how do we create more of these daily improvements? How do we move this process along? This is not waving your hands around again too much. It's not critical for this first 90-day period, okay? Doesn't necessarily have to happen right there. But if you can get it going inside that 90 days, you've done extremely well. So that can actually happen a little bit later. Once we've got the lean leaders group, we then need to put the book up because I've forgotten what step that I've got out of there. We need an example area. This is another key one that is extremely easy to do And this is also a must in your first 90 days. The way that I did this is I had one big room, and I haven't got time to put it in right now, I'll drop a picture of it later on. So I had a big long office, two big whiteboards that side, a whiteboard that side. My desk was right at the end of the office, the door where everyone came in and out. I had posters all around there. I had a big screen TV where I could get the scoreboard up, show the schedule every single day. We had posters up on the wall, lean posters, different stuff that we're putting in place all of the time. It has to be visual. It has to be up in everyone's face. Example area is absolutely critical. I'm going to give you a red hot tip here. You want to get a whiteboard up on site, and I'll just put this onto me for a second. See if I can find one under here. Oh yeah. Quick, easy way to get a whiteboard up on site is go to Officeworks, buy yourself one of these. It's called a post-it whiteboard. It's just a stick on. That's what this is. It's just stuck onto the wall. Get yourself a bit of plywood, stick that onto it, put that wherever you have your morning meeting, and you have started your example area. You start talking to your board like you do here. Start getting, I put quotes up sometimes. I used to write lines out of songs just to see if people were paying attention and that they were picking up what I was putting down. Next one. This is critical as well. Teach people the 8 wastes. But the waste, also critical for your first 90 days. Focus on the 8th waste. The 8th waste is unused people potential. Who have you got in your crew that can do things really well that's not being utilised for that particular job? Who's great at organising, but they're stuck hole watching? Move people, get them into the right places, get the right person in the right seat. That one's critical as well. Focus on that one, eliminating the wasted 8 waste. Where's our time getting wasted? Where are we standing around doing nothing when we could be doing something that's much better? Who could be helping us run our daily stand-up? Who's a good talker, a good speaker? Who is good at drawing, visual, representation, little maps, stuff like that? Where's the waste? Where is the talent that's within your crew being wasted? Next one is, and this one isn't actually, believe it or not, critical for your first 90 days either, which is introduce improvement time. Set aside a time. I would do this, and the way that I do this is with a process that's called 3S to start with. Sweep, sort, and standardise. I would be doing this. It's not critical, but it would work particularly well. Only thing that you have to do with this is 15 minutes a day, end of the shift, make the site spotless, clean. 3S, sweep, sort, standardise. You could bring that one into it as well. As I say, not critical to double your productivity inside 90 days, but it will certainly help. Next thing we do is introduce Yokotan. This is a great one. I use this extremely well with the way I did it, and I reckon this is critical for your first 90 days. The way that I did this on the project where we did double the productivity was with LinkedIn Live. Yokotan is disseminating information laterally across the organisation. The way that I used to do it, I can send you some clips. Just damn me the words LinkedIn Live Yokotan. I'll send you some of the clips that I did when I was on site for that specific project. So I'd go, we need to introduce setting up an example area. I might do a LinkedIn Live on it. Tell the boys, because I used to know they were on 10-4 roster. So Mondays I was on 5-2. So I always used to live stream on a Monday morning when I knew people were in the airport and are bored already. I used to do it at the time when I knew that they'd be sitting in the Qantas Club waiting for the plane. I'd do a LinkedIn live about whatever I was trying to put in place that week. Or sometimes it was just like a funny clip. There's like a little video of two cartoon characters, which is the superintendent and a supervisor arguing, which really illustrates all the issues that we face within the construction industry, particularly between lead hands, supervisors and the superintendents or the construction managers, whatever it may be. I'd run LinkedIn Live, something like that. So I was getting the message across the whole site by simple LinkedIn Live. Next one, this one's definitely not critical for your first 90 days, but it is if you can get on top of how your inventory or your materials are getting used on site. Solve your inventory problems. You're probably not going to get to that in the first 90 days because you've got enough on at the moment. All right, we're already trying to get this morning meeting going, which is absolutely critical. We need our example area. We need our leaders on board. We need to be teaching the 8 waste, and we need to introduce improvement time. Introduce yoga 10. So we've got enough on our plate at the moment, but solving your inventory problems is one of the next steps. Then it's hard to remember all this. Create SOPs, standard operating procedures. Standardise everything that we can. Again, highly unlikely you're going to get this to happen in the first 90 days, although we had a crew that was all over this. So what I actually did is I used to, instead of creating SOPs, there was a guy that did this so well with his crew. They were well drilled. They used to all know exactly where they were going, what they were doing, set the next crew up. Just did everything really, really, really well. I used to speak to it all the time. In fact, I'd do it in my LinkedIn Live as well. I'd talk about this guy in this one section of the job. He sets his job up this way. His crew members do this. They execute like this. Everything's runs like a Swiss watch. Great. Standard operating procedures. This one here is another good one as well. If you can make this happen, the best way to do this is by giving people areas, or crane drivers do this really, really, really well, which is implement total ownership. You'll see a crane driver and they own their crane. They'll polish it, clean it. It's immaculate. You get a franner that runs around the site, everyone jumps in and out of it. What does it look like? It's a complete and utter shit show. Doesn't get looked after. Implement your total ownership. Not critical for this first 90 days, or it is partially critical for the first 90 days. We'll actually draw another one up here. Start getting that happening. Won't be perfect, but at least get it started and up and running. And then the last one, of course, is connect with other people that do this stuff, which is the reason why I created the platform, which is school.com. SKOOL, not SCHOOL, Scrum. Go across and I teach this sort of stuff inside of there all of the time. All right, so what we're going to do now is I want to play you a short clip. I want to come back. I'm going to show you how I run my morning meeting with the boxes that we need to tick here. Need to run the morning meeting. We've got our leaders on board. It becomes our example area. It teaches the 8 wastes and it introduces Yoga 10, which are all of the things that we needed, critical, that we said, to give us this improvement, double our productivity over this 90-day period. As I say, you can actually do it inside, if you do it just 1% per day, you can do it in 72 days. That's the math, because it doesn't, 1% doesn't sound like anything, and everyone says, oh, that all adds up. It doesn't all add up. What it does is compound. So you get better, your 1% gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's how you get that increase, double your output within 72 days, is because the 1% actually creeps up, gets bigger and bigger. The improvements get bigger and bigger as you go. All right, so what we'll do right now is, as I said, flick you onto this video you can watch, previous Benny created. Well, I'll jump here on the whiteboard, clean this up. Actually, what I'm going to do right now is show you how, this is something that I learned. I found this little AI called Inquisitor, I-N-K-Quisitor. What it does is summarises your whiteboard. This is extremely powerful. I used this on the last shutdown that I was on. I found this. And what it will do, I'll take a photo of that whiteboard just there like that. And it'll give me a summary of it. So the stuff that you got out in the field is great. I love whiteboards. I love having them out in the field. But the problem is sometimes you lose stuff off of these, and you lose information. You lose critical bits of stuff that you needed. So we take Inquisitor, which is inside ChatGPT. It's just a free app. And I'll say to it, please give me, hang on, I'll do it with voice. Can you please give me an exact level summary with the critical points that are on my whiteboard from my morning meeting this morning? Transcribe that, upload that, and this is how I do all of my daily reporting. And I can ask it to actually go and do me exact level summary. So if I'm managing a stakeholder that's up above me, it'll take this information, run off and do that for me, or I can create a report that I can go, all right, this is a shift handover for the next one. This is what the guys out in the paddock need to do. So it's done an overview title. So you need your Ryan, possibly a journey or a plan representation illustrated with a step figure. So I haven't actually tried this. This would get better and better as we went. So if I give it some context behind how it actually done this and how it used this star system to create this map, it would then get better and better and write better notes for me. But this is, he hasn't got a lot of context, this one, but I'll show you the difference. I'll show you my AI that I've got trained, and he'll actually do a much better job than this. So it's got timeline. It's picked up that there's a timeline, so the 4 weeks in the timeline. It's given a 90-day pathway. It's picked that up. Leaders on board, example area, morning meetings, leaders group, introduce improvement time, improvement approach, make improvements easier, frameworks and resources. It's pulled out of it. Conceptual diagram, top right, a graph to axes. So it's picked that up there. And visual metaphors. All right, let's go. That's Inquisitor, but we'll go to a AI that I've got trained specifically to do this sort of stuff. And I'll go, hey Ed, right in the middle of a YouTube live at the middle, mate. So you're under the pump again, as normal. All right. What I'm going to do is take a picture of the training that I've done today, which is based on Lean Made Simple and the 12 steps. I've used the star system as usual to tell the story for this live. And what I want you to do is I'm going to upload you the photo of it. I want you to pretend like we've been on site this morning. This is our daily stand-up that we've done. I want you to create 2 things. I want you to create an exact level summary that I'm going to send up to the project director, general managers and those sorts of people to give an update on the site. And then I want you to create a quick report that is for the guys coming on tonight, shift tonight. So this is the stuff that we spoke to this morning. We need to get the same message to them for their daily stand-up tonight. So that's all in there. It's just transcribing that at the moment. Take the photo. All right, I'll upload that. Let's see what he comes up with. I'll read out the exact level summary and the handover that he does for night shift in a minute. Legendary beanie. And you have to give you a couple of tips with AI that I do. Number one, I talk to it like it's a person. You heard me speak to it not just then, not like it's a machine. All right, put you in a different frame of mind, and it gives you get a much better result out of it. The other thing that I do with it is I'll give it feedback. So when something's not right or it's done something that I didn't really like, or the way that I did it, I'll feed it back and say, hey, that's not quite right. Anyway, exact level summary for the project director, general managers and leadership. Subject, daily alignment, lean leaders training and ownership uplift. Summary. This morning we delivered a strategic training session built around Lean Made Simple 12-step processes using the STAR system to cascade clarity across the leadership and frontline team. Key outcomes, purpose and ownership reframed using your Ryan's story, Metaphor, we align the teams around long-term vision of doubling crew output safely in 90 days while reinforcing individual identity and ownership. First 4 weeks, focused execution, clarity, delivery around hiring, onboarding and transitioning to the buy-in and identity phase, critical to locking down early momentum. 3, lean leaders group activated, pilot program. Morning meetings, improvement time, 15 minutes a day, visible wins introduced to build rhythm and drive bottom-up engagement. Support tools in motion. SOPs created, kicked off, self-inventory underway, task and nest teaching deployed, apprentice and new starter ready. Cultural signals deployed, visual ownership systems linked to school.com/Scrum, emphasis on simplicity, flow and removing complexity. Building a cadence for full team participation, AM/PM crews. Next steps, maintain rhythm across all shifts, monitor 1% daily uplift curve, continue embedding yoga, 10 and Scrum aligned thinking, encouraging leaders to coach, not direct. That's going to give the execs confidence in what we're doing when they see that level of detail coming through what's happening in our morning or daily shift meetings. All right, so that's the exec level summaries going up to the stakeholders. Same piece of content. Now he's rewritten this is a shift report. Night shift, your role in the 90-day turnaround. Hey team, here's a recap of this morning's stand-up, so all rolling in the same direction. The mission, not here to push harder, we're here to work smarter. The goal is to double output safely in 90 days with 0 burnout. Your partner, start your shift with a morning meeting flow, you'll see it posted. Each crew's got 15 minutes of improvement time, make it count. We've launched the Lean Leaders Group. If you're curious, get involved. What's rolling out now? We're creating SOPs to make the hard stuff simple, kicking off solving inventory to unblock the jobs. Everyone's input matters. Speak up in meetings, even if it's messy. Final words. This isn't theory. It's been tested. And the sites that doing this right, they crush it. Let's own it. Let's improve it. Let's make it simple. Back each other up and let's make it count. Down the bottom, he then says to me, let me know if you want both of these dropped into PDFs or added to your live threads in Notion or Trello. All done from a photo through ChatGPT. That's my trained bot. He's produced a much better outcome than the one that we used before, which was Inquisitor, which I hadn't actually trained. If I went back to where I was using it on site last year, Inquisitor, because I'd been giving it feedback and telling it what I wanted to do and telling it how to correct, it would have gave me a much better result. I don't use Inquisitor anymore. It was fantastic when it first came on board, but now ChatGPT does a fantastic job of taking the whiteboard and transforming it. You can see that. If you want a copy of that, or you want the prompt that I wrote, just message me the words. What are we on here? Let's talk about the exec level summary for whiteboard training. Something like that. Message me off of this anyway and just tell me you're watching this, how to double productivity inside 90 days, and you want the ChatGPT prompts. All right, I need a drink. Then we're going to come back. I'm going to show you how to run a daily stand-up. In the meantime, this Benny will keep you entertained. Why is this not working? In construction, you either run your project or the project runs you. And a project, just like a business that runs you, is what Keith calls a hand cranker.
Most of us have a business where we're this. We're crankers.
And it generally runs and looks a lot like this.
Kind of a fire drill working with a bunch of people doing a bunch of stuff, and it's not necessarily the most productive thing that needs to happen.
At the other end of a spectrum is a project that runs like a well-oiled machine.
The whole idea of the machine is that I pour gasoline in and it runs.
As the project grows in size and scales, what you end up with is a whole lot of hand cranking going on.
And then I hear people talk about, I want to scale my business, and if you scale a crank business, you wind up with more crankers because there is no machine.
Many of the leaders on a project will brag about their ability to be able to wing it. Let's make it up and make it real is their mantra. But as the legendary coach Bill Walsh said, hearing someone described as being able to fly by the seat of their pants always suggests to me a leader who hasn't prepared properly and whose pants may pretty soon fall down. There's 3 things that transform a hand crank project into a well-oiled machine.
So the machine is 3 things. I got to have a process, I got to have a strategy and a plan. I got to have the people to execute, and I got to have some structure so that I pour in gas and this thing goes.
And structure is what the fly by the seat of their pants brigade detest the most, because they're usually the biggest hand crankers that you'll ever meet.
The Achilles tendon of most entrepreneurs is structure. They hate it. That's why they started their own business, is because they hate the idea of having structure, and yet structure is critical for scaling.
Just as a side note for the intent of this video, when Keith refers to an entrepreneur, the person on the project that fits that role is generally the project manager. On a project, leverage can take a lot of different forms, but there's one form of leverage that trumps all of the rest.
But the more powerful form of leverage is who's on your team.
Quoting the legendary Bill Walsh again, when you take care of the team, the score takes care of itself.
If you only had a team of A players, how many of your existing problems that you have right now would go away?
Creating structure on a construction project is a skill set that very few possess. Getting it up and running feels a lot like you're trying to run through a wall.
I know you're taking it in the teeth out there, but the first guy through the wall, he always gets bloody. Always.
While speeding up the project, you're literally working everyone out of a job.
This is threatening, not just a way of doing business, but in their minds it's threatening the game. But really what it's threatening is their livelihood. It's threatening their jobs. It's threatening the way that they do things.
So naturally, there's going to be a lot of pushback.
The people who are holding the reins, have their hands on the switch, they go bat crazy.
It's not a task for the ill-disciplined, pea-hearted. Right, let's crack on with it. 15-minute startup. Earlier on in the video, we went through everything that needs to happen to be able to double our productivity in the next 90 days. One of the key things to it that we spoke to is the morning meeting. This is a simple structure that I use, but don't be fooled by its simplicity. Extremely powerful. So I always have a clock on the wall, and the clock is set to times, and we stick to strictly 15 minutes. 0 to 2 minutes. What were our wins, and where did we improve yesterday? So the boxes that we're ticking there is we have, what's the name? We're teaching people to see the 8 ways. That happens in there. What do we have yesterday that we fixed and improved upon? We're introducing the yoga 10 at that point as well, because it's disseminating across the organisation things that we've done well, how we've picked up and done that very well. So 2 minutes on that. That's it. Quick win. Where did we win? What do we do? Next one, between minutes 3 to 10, we're talking about our top 3 items. These are not box ticking items. These are things that are going to move the needle. Big ticket items. What must, think of it this way, must happen today for us to be able to make our next targets. These are a must. 1, 2, 3. Because what we're going to come back to tomorrow is say, how did we go on 1 yesterday? Did we get 1 done, or did we not get 1 done? Number 2 yesterday, did we get it done? Did we not get it done? Number 3 yesterday, did we get it done? Did we not get it done? If we didn't get it done, how are we going to catch that up? Can't just keep moving stuff out to the future, because project becomes a mess, things get behind, we end up in all sorts of trouble. Last 10 to 15, between minutes 10 to 15, we talk about the constraints. What is stopping us moving quicker? Then we look at how we're going to remove them. If we need to, after the meeting's done, 15 meeting, it's cut off, and it's 15 minutes, it's cut off and it's done. People need to catch up afterwards. We need to do another meeting. We need to get other people involved. Maybe it's an engineering issue, maybe it's materials that we don't have, maybe it's equipment that we don't have. Then we go and sort that out afterwards. But we just get them up on the board, and then the next day again, of course, we keep speaking to them. So one, we had this issue yesterday. Resolved or not? Yes or no? Don't want to hear the story around it. Is it done? Is it not done? So it's either a tick or a cross, and you date next to it. I tend to run one board like this for this stuff, date, wins, top 3 tasks, and I run another board which is purely constraints. And the constraints board's generally set up a bit like, you've got the constraint issues just there. Implement total ownership. Who owns it? Who's doing it? What area is it in? What's it affecting? And then I'll put the date in here. When did it go up on the board? And then the box is there for yes or no. It's either done or it's not done. So I've got a live document. It's up in everyone's face. No one forgets about it. No one says, I didn't know, or I didn't think about it, or I thought someone else was doing it. It's very clear. What's the issue? Who's fixing it? Or who's working on it? What's it affecting? What area? What dates are going to be done? What date did we start on it? What date did we close? That's what I do, sorry. I do date, so it's open and closed. We can see very quickly whether we're closing our issues quick enough or whether we're just fucking around, going, it's too hard, throwing our hands up in the air and not actually dealing with it. All right, take that, use it. If you want that summary, that AI summary, just message me the words AI summary. If you want to connect with other people that I'm teaching this stuff to already, go across to school.com/Scrum. Sign up for a free account there, jump inside and have a look. It's not like the Hotel California. If you don't like it, you just leave. Take that, use it. There's a quick recap. If you go back to the start of the video, it will step you through the process. How we double our team's productivity inside the next 90 days. Not based on theory, not based on something I think that might work, something that we did last year. Speak soon.